Today we got Origins of White Tiger and Daredevil Born Again. Let's check it out. Check it out, bro. We only got a little bit of White Tiger and Daredevil. Yes, sir.
Of this season. Generally, he's not a widely known character like the Punisher, Iron Man, Cap, and so on, but never fear.
I was ready to see him in action, bro. Took him away, bro.
For starters, White Tiger first appeared in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu.
Iron Fist.
He was played by Bill Mantlo and George Perez. White Tiger also holds the honor of being the first Latin American main character in
Yes, sir.
Which of course means he's the first Latino superhero in the Marvel Universe as well. Specifically, Hector is Puerto Rican from New York, just like yours truly. That's right, he's my fellow Boricua, like Miles Morales. Anyway, towards the end of Deadly Hands of Kung Fu issue 19, we see a group of 3 martial artists with mystical amulets known as the Sons of the Tiger. And those amulets amplify their skills to help them fight evil. But going back to the issue, the Sons of the
You
Tiger
took them out or what?
And fighting one another, which leads to them ripping off.
Of course, greed got the best of them.
In an alley. Captions from the comics say this story, like most stories, had a beginning, and like most stories, it had an end of sorts. As we see Hector stumble upon the amulets in the alley, picking them up, saying, "These things are out of sight. Somebody must have lost them." That's the way it goes, though. Finders keepers and all that jazz.
Yeah.
He then puts them on and then says, "The amulet.
You got chosen.
Like crazy. I feel funny, like I'm gonna be sick or something, like I'm changing." Then on the next page, we see he's turned into the White Tiger in full costume with like I'm somebody else. Power shooting through me. I've never felt a rush like this. Never. And there's pictures in
Never ever.
that don't make any sense. Things that I shouldn't know, like my name. I've never heard it before, never even dreamt it, but I know that I am White Tiger, and I ain't ever gonna be the same again. As we see Hector turn into the White Tiger for the very first time. So in short, Hector was basically at the
Like he said, it was a calling.
wrong place at the wrong time, depending on your outlook. Now, if you're wondering what powers the amulets give him, they give him slight superhuman strength, enhanced speed, coordination, stamina, reflexes, agility, durability, and even a slight healing factor. Said amulet also gives
So he's kind of like
basically what I'm saying is
Super Soldier, kind of.
in Daredevil Born Again, he's gonna be a problem. In fact, he would be a handful even for Daredevil. However, they're both on the side of good, so we may not see them fight each other in the series. But before
We didn't even get a fight at all.
have you ever tried picking
Sadly.
up comic issues on a random live stream only to wait for hours shopping for on the comics in general? Friendly track regardless on the encore of giveaway win friend you bring on app store.
Punisher.
White Tiger. In the very next issue of the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, issue 20 to be exact, we were taken to a
Cheaper Town Hall.
Bronx, where we see an officer on a night shift, but all of a sudden captions say shadow figures slip noisily over the wood fence and instructions are passed and whispered. As we see a gang with one of the members saying, "Stick with me, kid, you'll be okay. Fan out, bro. Yeah, Duke, after we waste the cop." One of the members then knocks out the cop from behind as one of them says, "Pigs down." Now we do what we came here for. We make our mark. Do it, brother. East 177th Street got to know who got here first. Let them dig that it was the Nomads. As they start tagging train cars with spray paint. And if you haven't noticed, the dialogue is quite dated. They then give a spray paint can to the kid saying, "Your turn, do it," as they're clearly trying to initiate him. The kid then takes the can and starts spraying the train while a member says, "We're gonna make something out of you, kid," as the kid's like, "Yeah, cool." The cop then picks up
Always leading them in the wrong direction, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna make you dead, kid. Didn't see
Right.
in the dark. Gotta make my move for my gun. Real slow. But as the cop starts to get up, one of the gang members kicks him in the head, knocking him on the ground again. The leader of the gang then says, "Come here, kid," as he hands him a gun.
Oh, man.
Before, the kid takes it nervously, saying, "What do you want me to do with it?" He says, "Want you to point it at the pig's head, kid. Want you to squeeze down on the trigger. I want you to kill him. Then you'll be a nomad."
That's crazy.
He says, "No, please. I have a wife and a baby. Don't kill me, please." Then a voice from above says,
They were ruthless, bro.
"Done. Now is the hour of light. The time of the White Tiger," as we see Hector in New York fighting crime as the White Tiger for the first time. He then starts to take down the gang, telling them, "Do you understand the nature of violence? Violence breeds itself. Your violence has bred me." The gang then starts walking towards him, saying he's gonna get himself carved for poking his nose into nomad business. White Tiger then says, "Still you come? So it must be."
Muy bien.
At this point, obviously, it doesn't go.
He was ready for that fight.
Tiger is able to take every single one of them out with nothing but his bare hands. Even the leader of the gang, White Tiger, then says to him, though it was you who did draw first blood, it will be I who claims first kill. As the leader of the gang says, no, please. At this point, with all the gang members down, the kid says to White Tiger, mister, I gotta shoot you, mister. If I don't, they're gonna get me later. You understand the nomads are kings on my block. As he nervously points the gun at White Tiger with tears rolling down his face and the gun shaking in his hand. White Tiger then walks towards him, putting his hand out saying, hand me the weapon. The kid then says, I can't do that, don't hurt my mom. White Tiger then gets more serious saying, the gun. The kid says, I gotta live here. White Tiger says one last time, the gun. But the kid says, I can't, as he fires at White Tiger, shooting him in the arm.
Everybody just want to shoot White Tiger at this point, bruh.
I gotta say, everyone, as a fellow Hispanic and Puerto Rican, this is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, White Tiger continues to say, had I not moved, you would have, but he's interrupted because the cop the gang attacked earlier gets back up and knocks the kid out from behind saying, got the killer. I got him, pal. With the kid knocked out, the man says to the White Tiger, you saved my life. Thought I'd return the favor. This is one street punk that won't try a stunt like this again. But White Tiger says nothing to the cop. He just kneels down and puts his white glove to the boy's face, and his hand comes away red. As the cop says, didn't mean to hit him quite so hard. Guess I kind of lost my head. White Tiger then looks at the cop saying,
Bruh.
dead. There was no need. The cop
Dang,
says,
what the
"Why are you
hell?"
looking at me like that? Get back. As White Tiger punches the cop in the
That
chest,
was dark.
sending him flying back as White Tiger tells him, no need. I wish to save the boy, guide him from this world of violence. He would not have shot had he not seen you rise up behind me, senor. He fired at your uniform from instinct. It was I who saved your life, amigo. Perhaps it was a foolish thing to do. Buenos noches, senor. Of you, the night has made a murderer. I don't know about you guys, but White Tiger might be the first Puss in Boots.
Hunger.
But just like that, White Tiger leaves the cold body of a small boy and the shaking form of a night shift security guard who just learned how to cry. Now we're going to jump a little ahead into White Tiger's history because the show is pulling directly from the Marvel Knights Trial of the Century story that takes place in issues 38 through 40 of Daredevil. Spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen the first few episodes of Daredevil Born Again, but in the first
Better go watch it. That shit was good.
White Tiger is accused of killing a cop, something he did not do. At which point Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, becomes his defense attorney trying to prove his innocence. Now with that brief recap in mind, you're going to see how similar the Trial of the Century story is and how it clearly inspired what's going on in the Daredevil Born Again series. And it makes all the sense in the world as writer of this comic story, Brian Michael Bendis has also been consulting producer for Netflix Daredevil and executive producer.
That's how you do it, bro.
Okay, so issue 30.
That's how you make a good show.
On a rooftop, being approached by Luke Cage, aka Power Man, and Danny Rand, aka Iron Fist. They show him the front page of the Daily Bugle that says superhero cop killer with a picture of White Tiger. So naturally they're looking for Daredevil's help to defend Hector Ayala, aka White Tiger, as he's a lawyer. You see, Hector, who's a superhero empowered by a mystical amulet, as we know,
And Danny Rand and Luke Cage were trying to save him.
Claims he didn't do it. Matt reluctantly takes the case, sensing something seems off about the entire situation. In fact, his heightened senses pick up subtle cues like Hector's heartbeat, suggesting he's telling the truth. Something we also saw them do verbatim in the Daredevil series. But of course, while incarcerated, the media begins to paint White Tiger as a vigilante gone rogue, putting pressure on Matt's identity as Daredevil. As for the case itself, the evidence hinges on the narrative that Hector snapped under the stress of his superhero life. At this point, Matt...
They're trying to see that man fail, bro.
A frame-up tied to organized crime or corruption inside the NYPD, which yet again was pulled right from the comic into the TV series, as it's actually the corrupt cops responsible for this crime and not Hector. Now this brings us to issue 39 and part 2 of the story. In this issue, the trial kicks into high gear, if you will, with Matt Murdock presenting White Tiger's defense in a packed courtroom with Hector's White Tiger costume laid out in evidence bags and everything. The entire issue is a full-on court trial.
Trying to frame him, bro.
Witnesses, including cops and supposed eyewitnesses, to argue that Hector did intentionally kill the cop. Matt counters with forensic evidence and a testimony from Luke Cage, who vouches for Hector's character. As the issue ends, it seems that the jury is swayed by the prosecution's case, pulling on the jury's heartstrings, being like, police are sworn to protect and serve. Why would you think the police need your help? How far does this superiority complex of yours go, Mr. Ayala? And with that, we go into
They don't do a good job at it,
40.
apparently.
The jury finds Hector guilty, at which point the courtroom erupts. Hector then stands up telling Matt, you promised me. I'm innocent. You know this. Why is this happening? You promised me. As the judge says, bailiff, remove him. With Hector being dragged out saying, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong. You people are insane. Hector then punches one of the bailiffs and kicks another saying, I did everything you told
They were
me
trying to
about
get
the
up
match."
out of there.
Everyone clears the courtroom, and an officer starts charging Hector with the gun. But someone knocks into him, causing the gun to drop, at which point it lands right in front of Hector. He then picks it up in anger with
Bruh.
face pointing it at Matt. He just pauses, not knowing what to do, saying, "I did everything you said." Hector thankfully doesn't shoot anyone, but leaves while promising he's going to get his life back and show everyone how insane they are. But as he runs out of the courtroom, he's stopped by a crowd of people outside of the building and eventually is gunned down by police officers. The issue ends with Daredevil ultimately finding the person responsible for the cop's death. The young man, in tears, knowing what he's done, says to Daredevil, "I want to do the right thing. Please don't kill me. Please tell me what to do." Daredevil says, "Look at me. You know what to do." And on the final page of the issue, we see the young man go to the police station to confess his crime. But there you have it, friends, the origin of White Tiger.
Damn, bro.
Became the White Tiger, and unfortunately how he died.
I think they did it better in the series though.
As well, as it seems like they're following the trial of the century story arc pretty closely. But in any case,
Yeah, I mean,
Puerto Rican superhero White Tiger,
they gave away his identity, so it was bound to happen.
wanted to focus on Hector Ayala, as he was the first and the one appearing in the Daredevil series. But in any case, let us know your thoughts down in the comments, and we'll see you next time when
Yes, sir. That's it for today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.